Your soulmate had a private meeting about you. What was said may surprise you. There are moments in life that seem ordinary on the surface, quiet days that pass without announcement, silent nights that fade into morning without leaving a trace, yet behind those unseen hours, mysteries may be unfolding that no human eye can witness. The Bible often reveals that before great events appear in the physical world, conversations take place in places beyond human hearing. Decisions are discussed, destinies are weighed, and hearts are prepared for encounters they never expected. Tonight, we explore a fascinating possibility, a mysterious question that has stirred the imagination of countless believers. What if your soulmate has already spoken about you, before your paths have fully crossed? What if, somewhere within the unseen movements of God's plan, your name has already been part of a conversation you know nothing about? Scripture repeatedly reminds us that God's plans are never random. When Abraham searched for a wife for Isaac, events were already unfolding before the young man knew anything about them. When Ruth walked through the fields of Bethlehem, she could not yet see how every step was guiding her toward Boaz, and when Joseph first met Mary, neither could fully understand the extraordinary future waiting before them. Again and again, the biblical story reveals a pattern. God works quietly before he works visibly. He prepares hearts before he joins lives together. He arranges meetings long before anyone realizes they have been arranged. And perhaps, just perhaps, while you have been wondering about your future, another soul has been wondering about you as well, asking questions, carrying hopes, whispering prayers that somehow connect to your own story in ways neither of you can yet understand. Imagine for a moment. Somewhere beneath the same stars that shine above your home, another person sits in silence, reflecting on life, wondering who God may bring into their future, speaking hopes into the darkness that sound strangely familiar to your own. Perhaps they have prayed for kindness, while you have prayed for understanding. Perhaps they have asked God for faithfulness, while you have asked for peace, and unknown to both of you, those prayers may already be moving toward an answer. The Bible Chronicle is filled with stories of divine timing, hidden preparation, and remarkable encounters that seemed impossible until they happened, and as we continue uncovering this mystery together, consider subscribing to the Bible Chronicle, because in the next part, we will explore the astonishing possibility of what may have been said during that mysterious conversation, and why it could change the way you see your future forever. If such a conversation truly exists within the unfolding design of God's providence, it would not begin with appearances, wealth, status, or any of the things that often capture human attention. Throughout Scripture, when God looks upon a person, he consistently sees something deeper, something hidden beneath the surface. When the prophet Samuel searched for Israel's future king, God reminded him that man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. This ancient truth invites us to imagine a remarkable possibility, that the qualities being discussed about you are not the things visible to strangers, but the quiet characteristics known only to God. Your moments of perseverance, your hidden acts of kindness, your silent prayers spoken when no one else was listening, these may hold far greater significance than you realize. Perhaps your soulmate has never spoken your name, perhaps they do not know where you live, what you look like, or even that you exist. Yet they may already be speaking about the kind of person they hope to meet. Somewhere, they may be praying for someone who values faith over popularity, someone who chooses honesty when deception would be easier, someone who remains gentle in a world that often rewards harshness. And as those prayers rise upward, it becomes fascinating to consider that many of the qualities they seek could already be taking shape within your life. The Bible repeatedly shows that God often prepares two paths separately before bringing them together. Long before Ruth met Boaz, both were already becoming the people they needed to be. Long before Isaac met Rebekah, circumstances were quietly aligning beyond their awareness. Preparation often happens in private, long before fulfillment arrives in public. And here the mystery grows even deeper, because if another heart has been praying for qualities that reflect God's wisdom, then perhaps heaven has been paying close attention to those prayers all along. Perhaps every challenge you have endured, every lesson you have learned, every season of waiting that felt confusing or lonely, has been shaping a story larger than you could see. The most extraordinary biblical journeys often began during seasons when nothing seemed to be happening at all. Yet beneath the silence, God was working. Beneath the waiting, God was preparing. And in the next part, we will explore a surprising biblical pattern that suggests your soulmate may not only be thinking about the future, but may already be receiving signs, lessons, and preparations connected to the day your paths finally meet. There is a fascinating pattern woven throughout the pages of Scripture, a pattern so quiet that it is often overlooked. Before two lives were brought together by God's timing, both individuals frequently experienced seasons of preparation that seemed completely unrelated to one another. Moses spent years in the wilderness before stepping into his calling. David endured long periods of waiting before becoming king, and Ruth walked through loss and uncertainty before arriving at the field where her future would change forever. None of these moments appeared connected at first, yet each was shaping a heart for something greater ahead. In the same way, it is possible that while you have been navigating your own challenges, another person has been walking through lessons designed specifically for them, lessons that one day may complement your own journey in ways neither of you could currently imagine. Imagine two travelers moving toward the same destination from opposite directions, unable to see one another because hills and valleys stand between them. Each step feels personal, isolated, and sometimes confusing. Yet from a higher vantage point, their paths are slowly converging. The Bible often portrays God's guidance in a similar way. Joseph could not see how imprisonment would eventually lead to influence. Esther could not see how her position would become part of a greater purpose, and countless biblical figures discovered that what seemed like detours were actually preparations. Perhaps your soulmate is learning patience while you are learning trust. Perhaps they are overcoming fear while you are discovering courage. Perhaps God is developing qualities in both of you that will someday strengthen a shared future. What appears random today may look remarkably intentional when viewed through the lens of time. And this brings us to one of the most intriguing possibilities of all: what if the private meeting about you was never a single conversation, but an ongoing process of preparation unfolding through prayers, experiences, and divine guidance? What if every lesson, every delay, every unexpected turn has been quietly contributing to a story that has not yet reached its most important chapter? The Scriptures reveal a God who specializes in hidden preparation, a God who works behind the curtain long before the audience sees the stage. And in the next part, we will uncover an even deeper mystery: the surprising signs that may indicate two lives are being prepared for one another long before they ever meet face to face, and why those signs are often missed by almost everyone who experiences them. One of the most remarkable truths found throughout the Bible is that God's preparations are often hidden within ordinary moments, not dramatic miracles, not thunder from the heavens, but quiet events that seem insignificant until years later. When Ruth chose to gather grain in a field, it felt like a simple decision. When Rebekah offered water to a weary traveler at a well, it appeared to be an ordinary act of kindness. Yet these seemingly small moments became turning points in stories that would shape generations. This invites a profound question: if God prepares people through ordinary circumstances, could some of the events in your own life be carrying a significance you do not yet recognize? Could the conversations, opportunities, and lessons unfolding around you be part of a larger design still hidden from view? Perhaps somewhere, your soulmate is experiencing similar moments. They may not recognize them as signs, just as Joseph did not recognize the purpose behind many of his hardships. They may simply see another day, another challenge, another unexpected encounter. Yet Scripture teaches that God often uses seasons of growth to prepare hearts for future responsibilities. A person who learns compassion through suffering can offer comfort in ways others cannot. A person who develops patience through waiting often carries a deeper strength when trials arise. And if two people are being prepared for a shared journey, it would make sense that many of those lessons occur long before they ever meet. While one learns forgiveness, the other may be learning faithfulness. While one learns wisdom, the other learns humility. Quietly, steadily. Two stories continue unfolding beneath the surface. But there is another mystery hidden within this idea, a mystery that reaches beyond preparation itself. Throughout biblical history, there are moments when individuals sense that God was leading them toward something they could not yet explain, a feeling that a chapter was ending, that a new season was approaching, that unseen doors were beginning to open. Could such feelings sometimes be connected to divine timing? Could there be subtle indications that God's plan is moving closer to fulfillment? In the next part, we will explore the ancient biblical principle of divine appointments, extraordinary meetings arranged by God Himself, and why some believers think your soulmate's path may already be moving toward yours even now. As we move deeper into this mystery, we arrive at a theme that appears again and again throughout the Bible, the reality of divine appointments. These are moments that seem accidental to human eyes, yet reveal extraordinary purpose when viewed through the lens of faith. Consider Abraham's servant arriving at a distant well and meeting Rebekah at precisely the right moment, or Ruth entering the field of Boaz on a day that appeared entirely ordinary. Scripture often presents such encounters with a quiet simplicity, yet behind them lies a profound suggestion that God is capable of arranging circumstances long before those involved understand what is happening. What seems like coincidence may sometimes be the invisible hand of providence, gently guiding lives toward an appointed moment. Imagine for a moment how many events must align before two lives cross paths in a meaningful way. Families, decisions, journeys, delays, opportunities, countless details unfolding across months and years. Human beings often focus only on the final meeting, yet God's work may have begun long before either person became aware of it. The Bible reveals a God who operates beyond human limitations, seeing the beginning and the end simultaneously. While we experience life one day at a time, He sees every road, every choice, every possibility. Perhaps this is why seasons of waiting are so common in Scripture. What feels like delay may actually be alignment. What feels like silence may actually be preparation. And somewhere beyond your current understanding, pieces of a larger picture may already be falling into place. Yet the most fascinating part of this mystery may not be the meeting itself, but what happens just before it. Throughout biblical history, many people experienced seasons of unexpected change before entering a new chapter of their lives. Doors closed, priorities shifted, perspectives matured, and old paths quietly came to an end. These transitions often seemed confusing in the moment, but later revealed themselves as preparations for something greater. Could the same principle still be at work today? Could certain changes occurring in your life right now be preparing you for an encounter that has not yet happened? In the next part, we will explore the astonishing connection between divine timing and personal transformation, and why the person you are becoming may be just as important as the person you are destined to meet.